In this list, we'll be ranking the richest people in every state in order of estimated net worth. Kicking off our list with the poorest rich person is actually a duo out of Alaska. Jonathan Rubini and Leonard Hyde both own a bunch of properties in Alaska as part of their company JL Properties. Their estimated net worths are around $320 million each. They own other businesses across the country, including a hotel in Florida and a business park in Utah. The second poorest person on this list is John Abley of Vermont. The 85-year-old businessman is now retired, but he co-founded a medical device company in the 70s. He was once a billionaire, but has donated so much of his money that his estimated net worth is about $640 million.
I am a believer in capitalism, but I think the rules of capitalism, and there's a lot of people proposing some interesting changes, are going to change.
Next up on our list is New Mexico resident Mark Chase. The 91-year-old oil and gas tycoon started working in the oil biz at 14 years old and is apparently still doing some work. He made a good chunk of his fortune in oil fields in Texas and New Mexico. His estimated net worth is around $700 million. Up next, as the fourth poorest person on our list, is Elizabeth Snyder of Delaware. Her parents founded the company Gore-Tex, and her late brother invented the waterproof material used in Gore-Tex apparel. The family net worth is reportedly over $800 million. Gore-Tex is one of more than 7,000 patents held by the company. North Dakota is up next with Gary Thoroldson. He builds and operates hundreds of hotels across the country through Thoroldson Companies. He's reported to be worth just over $1 billion. The 73-year-old still works out of his company offices in Fargo.
Success is really being the best you can be. So if you're going to be a school teacher, then be the very best you can be. And if you become a businessman, strive to be the very best you can be.
West Virginia's richest resident probably has a great relationship with Santa Claus. Jim Justice II is the state's current governor and is reported to be the richest person in the state, stemming from his work in the coal industry. Forbes reported in 2020 that his estimated net worth was $1.2 billion, although recent reports suggest his current net worth may be less than half that. South Carolina's Anita Zucker is next on our list. She's the CEO of a private family-owned chemicals manufacturer and has donated millions of dollars to charity along with her late husband Jerry Zucker. Her estimated net worth is about $1.8 billion. Her husband, an immigrant from Israel, was a well-known inventor and was granted a bunch of patents.
Another thing I learned from my husband that I think is great advice: if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life. And I'm so lucky to love what I do and to be able to have that in my life.
A Utah man who made his fortune on the internet is up next. Matthew Prince is the CEO of web infrastructure and security company Cloudflare, which he co-founded. Before that, he was a university law professor and co-founded a program that prevents spam. He also once worked as a ski instructor. His estimated net worth is about $1.9 billion. The next person on the list is a South Dakota resident who said he wants to die broke. T. Denny Sanford owns First Premier Bank, which specializes in offering credit cards to borrowers who are considered high risk. He has given nearly $2 billion to charity and still remains the state's richest guy. His estimated net worth is $2 billion, and he says he can't get rid of his wealth fast enough.
I strongly believe it's not enough to just achieve whatever level of success that we can do while we're alive on this earth, but rather take whatever we have and turn it into something significant.
We have two brothers in Mississippi who come in as 10th poorest on our list. Brothers James and Thomas Stuff co-own a holding company. After some Googling, I found out a holding company is a company created to buy and possess the share of other companies, which it then controls. Their estimated net worth is around $2.2 billion. The brothers started on their business track after working for their father's tire company in the 70s. Coming in next on this list is a man who turned a $2 million wedding business into a $2 billion printing business. Glenn Taylor of Minnesota is the state's richest resident with an estimated net worth of about $2.4 billion. He's reported to have grown up poor on a farm in Comfrey, Minnesota.
A farm, and we were a large family, is a small business, so I think you'll learn a lot about just life in itself being raised on a farm.
A shoe company helped rocket a Maine woman to the Billionaires Club. Susan Alfond and her three siblings inherited their dad's shoe fortune. Their dad bought an old mill in the 50s and started the Dexter Shoe Company, which exploded in popularity. He then sold it in the 90s for a bunch of stock which is now worth billions. Warren Buffett, who bought the stock, has since called the investment the worst deal of his career. Her estimated net worth is about $2.8 billion. Rhode Island's richest person can trace his wealth to the private equity firm he founded. Jonathan Nelson is the executive chairman of Providence Equity Partners. The firm has invested in more than 170 companies. In college, Nelson worked for a radio station where he broadcasted jazz music. His estimated net worth is $3.1 billion. You may be surprised to find out Idaho's richest person does not owe his fortune to potatoes. Frank Vandersloot is the CEO of a company that sells wellness products ranging from health supplements to household cleaners. His estimated net worth is reportedly $3.2 billion. He's also said to have been raised in a poor farming family. Jim T. Stevens and his family out of Alabama are up next. Apparently, there aren't many pictures online of him, so this is all I found. His late dad founded a company in 1944 with $5,000 that started off as a plan to sell paper magazines to the military. Today, the business does billions of dollars in sales among dozens of different businesses. Forbes estimates the family net worth at around $4 billion. The next person on the list is Gail Benson out of Louisiana. She's the third wife and widow of Tom Benson, who owned the NFL New Orleans Saints and NBA New Orleans Pelicans. She now owns both teams, although there's been a dispute between Tom's daughters and grandchildren over his wealth. Her estimated net worth is $4.7 billion. She was recently awarded the Loving Cup Award, which is awarded to someone from New Orleans who has made significant contributions to the city.
You know, this is so humbling. It truly is. I mean, it's for the city of New Orleans, my husband, and it truly is very humbling for me to get this honor tonight.
If you're looking to move anytime soon, Arizona's richest guy might be able to help with that. Mark Schoen is the state's richest resident. He owns roughly 1/5 of Amoco, the publicly traded parent company of U-Haul, and his estimated net worth is reportedly $5.1 billion. He also owns one of the largest private self-storage operations in the country, which apparently does business with U-Haul. If you're dying to know Victoria's secret, well, you better ask Ohio's richest person. Les Wexner founded a retail group that includes the likes of Victoria's Secret and Bath & Body Works. He was CEO for 5 decades but stepped down in 2020. He started his climb up the business ladder in 1963 when he took a $5,000 loan to open a clothing shop. His and his family's net worth is estimated to be around $6.1 billion. Maryland's Stephen Bisciotti is the state's richest person. He co-founded a staffing firm which now has more than $12 billion in annual revenue. He also owns the NFL's Baltimore Ravens. His estimated net worth is about $6.4 billion. He was reportedly raised by a single mother in Baltimore.
My mother was a legit sports fan, crazy sports fan, crazy Colts fan. I mean, we had rules at the house watching the game. You know, if Eric Carlson came over next door and we were talking too much, he'd tell you and Eric go watch the game at Eric's house.
Montana's richest person made his fortune in the mining and construction industries. Dennis Washington owns or co-owns a bunch of companies that together are known as the Washington Companies. His estimated net worth is about $6.5 billion. He and his wife have donated hundreds of millions of dollars to more than 1,000 different groups. John Overdeck of New Jersey is the co-founder of an investing group that has made a lot of money. He's also the state's richest person. The investing group is called 2 Sigma, and they manage around $60 billion in assets. He has given more than $200 million away to charitable organizations. His estimated net worth is about $6.8 billion. Rick Cohen is the owner of the country's biggest grocery wholesaler, and he's also New Hampshire's richest person. Forbes combined him and his family's wealth, and their net worth is estimated to be at $7.2 billion. His family wealth apparently comes from a warehouse automation firm that partners with Walmart. The 287th richest person in the world is also North Carolina's richest resident. Tim Sweeney is co-founder and CEO of game developer Epic Games, the company that made Fortnite. The company was valued this year at $31.5 billion. His estimated net worth is about $7.6 billion. Epic Games also made Unreal Engine, which is what many game developers use to make games. The next richest person on this list is a Kentucky resident. Tamara Gustafson is Kentucky's richest person. She holds the largest share of Public Storage, which was founded by her dad in the 70s. She owns about 10% of the company, and her estimated net worth is also about $7.6 billion. A seed genetics tycoon is Iowa's richest person. Harry Stein has made most of his money by licensing corn and soybean genetics. His interest in the business started on his own family's farm where he started working at just 5 years old. His estimated net worth is about $7.9 billion. Georgia's richest person isn't in the peach business, but in the media and automotive industries. Jim Kennedy is the chairman of Cox Enterprises. His grandfather founded the company in 1898. Kennedy's first job was a production assistant in the newspaper division in the 70s. His estimated net worth is $7.9 billion. The CEO of a medical device manufacturer is up next. Carl Cook of Indiana is the state's wealthiest person. He took over as CEO of his parents' company, Cook Group, after his dad died in 2011. They started the business out of their Indiana apartment in the 60s. His estimated net worth is about $10.3 billion. Colorado's richest person built his legacy on many industries stemming from oil and railroads to real estate and media. He owns the Crypto.com arena where the Kings play and owns part of several sports teams. He's also looking at making one of the world's biggest wind farms. His estimated net worth is about $10.7 billion. He apparently started working young, selling Kool-Aid to college kids when he was just 6. A real estate and sports icon is Missouri's richest person, and he's next on our list. Stan Kroenke owns the LA Rams and a bunch of shopping plazas near Walmart stores which have contributed to his estimated fortune of $12.9 billion. He's married to a Walmart heiress who's also a billionaire. You may be familiar with Wisconsin's wealthiest person if you know anything about the home improvement biz. John Menard Jr. is the founder and owner of Menards. It's one of the most popular Midwestern home improvement stores. His estimated net worth is about $18.6 billion. His more than 300 stores bring in billions of dollars in sales each year.
Save big money at Menards.
If you know about Quicken Loans, you can thank this next guy. Daniel Gilbert co-founded what would become the largest mortgage lending organization. The Michigan man is the state's richest person with an estimated net worth of about $18.6 billion. He owns the NBA's Cleveland Cavaliers and co-founded online sneaker store StockX. The man who founded one of the world's largest hedge funds is Connecticut's richest person. Ray Dalio founded Bridgewater Associates out of his 2-bedroom apartment in New York City and ran it for most of its 47 years. Today, Ray remains an investor and mentor at Bridgewater and serves on its board. His estimated net worth is about $19.1 billion.
Most important reason for whatever success I've had has been meditation. What meditation has given me is equanimity and creativity.
Tennessee's richest person made his money in healthcare. Thomas Frist Jr. and family have an estimated net worth of about $20 billion. He founded Hospital Corp of America with his dad in the 60s, and it was taken public in 2011. The company owns and operates nearly 200 hospitals in the US and the UK. A broker out of Florida is up next. Thomas Petterfy founded Interactive Brokers in 1993 and was CEO up until a few years ago. The company website says they are the lead online trading solutions for traders, investors, and advisors. His net worth is estimated to be at $20.1 billion. The granddaughter of the late founder of Fidelity Investments is up next on our list. Abigail Johnson is Massachusetts' richest person with an estimated net worth of $20.8 billion. Her grandfather founded the company in 1946. She owns nearly a quarter of the firm, which has trillions of dollars in managed assets. Fracking is what brought Oklahoma's richest resident his fortune. Harold Hamm is the founder and chairman of Continental Resources, which is a petroleum and natural gas exploration and production company. He founded the company in 1967 at only 21 years old. His estimated net worth is about $27 billion. Pennsylvania's richest person has close ties to Wall Street. Jeff Yass is the co-founder of a successful trading firm, and his estimated net worth is about $30 billion. Prior to his current career, he used to be a professional gambler, and it looks like that paid off. He founded the trading firm along with 5 other fellow students while in college. A woman who was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by Donald Trump in 2018 is next on the list. Miriam Adelson is Nevada's richest person. She's the widow of Sheldon Adelson, the former CEO and chairman of casino company Las Vegas Sands. He died back in 2021 at 87 years old. She was born in Israel and practiced medicine as a doctor specializing in addiction. Forbes estimates her and her family's net worth at $31.8 billion. Hedge fund manager Ken Griffin recently topped the list of rich folks in Illinois until his recent move to Florida. He founded and runs a hedge fund that manages upwards of $55 billion in assets. He founded the organization in 1990 after getting into the trading biz while studying at Harvard just a few years before. His estimated net worth is $31.9 billion. He has donated more than $1 billion to charity. In Virginia, the granddaughter of an iconic candy maker is the state's top earner. Jacqueline Mars is believed to own about a third of Mars, which was founded by her grandpa. She worked for Mars for nearly 2 decades. The iconic Mars company was founded in 1911. Mars's family fortune is estimated to be around $39.3 billion. Over in Wyoming, Jacqueline Mars's brother John is the richest man there. While John and Jacqueline own about a third of the company, their brother's 4 daughters own the rest. The next person on this list is behind one of the most notable brands on the planet. Phil Knight is the co-founder of Nike, and he's also Oregon's richest person. He retired as chairman in 2016 after 5 decades. His net worth is estimated to be around $40.7 billion. He's donated hundreds of millions of dollars to a bunch of charities, including both the University of Oregon and Stanford's Graduate School of Business, his alma maters. In Kansas, Charles Koch takes the spot as the richest person in the state. He's the chairman and CEO of Koch Industries, which does business in a bunch of sectors including chemicals, computer software, and paper cups. His estimated net worth is $57.6 billion. His dad started the family business in 1940. You're probably familiar with Arkansas's richest person. Jim Walton is the youngest son of Walmart founder Sam Walton. The University of Arkansas alum is the country's 10th richest person with an estimated net worth of more than $62 billion. The Bentonville-based chain has more than 10,000 stores across the US. The world's 12th richest person is New York's richest resident. Michael Bloomberg got his first job on Wall Street in 1966 and later co-founded finance and media company Bloomberg LP in the early 80s. He's donated more than $10 billion to a bunch of causes, including gun control and climate change. His net worth is estimated to be at $76.8 billion. He also served as the mayor of New York City for 12 years. Google co-founder Larry Page is up next as the richest person in California. He helped create the tech giant in 1998 and was CEO for a few years at a time. He is reported to be the 11th richest person in the world with an estimated net worth of about $77.6 billion. He reportedly owns at least 4 private islands. Next up is Hawaii. The richest person on the island chain and 7th richest person in the world is Larry Ellison. He's the chairman and co-founder of software giant Oracle. He owns about 35% of the company and gave up the CEO role in 2014. He apparently owns 98% of the island of Lanai where he lives, while the state of Hawaii owns 2% of it. Ellison never finished college and started his career working for the CIA. Nebraska's richest person is known as one of the most successful investors of all time. Warren Buffett is the state's richest person with an estimated net worth of about $104.5 billion. He runs Berkshire Hathaway, which owns a bunch of companies like Geico and Dairy Queen. He bought his first stock at 11 years old and filed taxes at 13. He lives in his Omaha home he bought in the 50s, which sold for less than $32,000. E-commerce giant Amazon helped a Washington man become the world's 4th richest person. Jeff Bezos founded the company in the early 90s, and he stepped down as CEO in 2021. He owns less than 10% of the company. He has said he plans to give away most of his wealth, which is estimated at $108.2 billion. The 58-year-old also owns other companies, including the Washington Post. Last and certainly not least is a Texas man who is the 2nd richest person in the world. Elon Musk is the CEO of Tesla and most recently Twitter. His estimated net worth is about $163.5 billion, which has been falling due to recent controversies surrounding the tech mogul. He grew up in South Africa and taught himself how to code. And that wraps up the list of the 50 richest people from each state. Let us know down in the comments which person surprised you, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button.